All right, greetings. This is Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth, and I wanted to show you one of the Truth mobiles. It's actually Photoshop because it has to be, but that's the official Tesla photo. All right, apparent technical difficulty with transmission and connectivity. But I wanted to also talk about the Cybertruck here and what I believe is the potential to harness electricity from the ether and power up the batteries. So this is the current Truth Mobile right here. And I wanted to show you the power plant. It's a naturally aspirated, fuel-injected V8. It's my cell phone charger, and I can run my freezer with it and more if I need to, with an inverter and a couple extra batteries that I've connected. So what I wanted to show you, I'm going to go ahead and bring that down. I wanted to talk about artificial intelligence and living systems, including transportation and more. So I ordered the Tesla Cybertruck, the tri-motor, and one of the things that I wanted to talk about is what I believe is the potential to harvest, of course, solar energy to operate the Tesla vehicles, the electric vehicles, and more. And that's part of what I wanted to talk about, is that with the design of a living system, a habitat for humanity that's a steel reinforced fortified concrete construction, insulated steel reinforced panel construction. It's extremely energy efficient and can withstand winds of over 300 miles an hour, wildfires, earthquakes, all of that. So with that in mind, it takes a fraction of the energy to climate control that internal environment, so that extra electricity you're not using to keep your house cool, you can operate your electric vehicle, your freezers, refrigerators, that type of thing. And then there's the technology known as geothermal, drawing water up from the earth and running it through a conduit or a circulation system in the walls, floor, ceiling, if you like, or through an A-coil that's in an air handling system to climate control and reduce the moisture from the air so it's pleasant to breathe and doesn't have as much mold and that in it. So there are ways to create that living system that can be highly secure in a Mad Max kind of world where there's rioting in the streets and fires, wildfires in California, and supply disruptions. Wouldn't it be nice to live in a fortress? You could have almost like a blast door that opens up to let your vehicle in, and you can climate control it with the door closed. The climate control system in a Tesla vehicle can operate in an enclosed environment because it's not putting off any exhaust. It's not creating any pollution indoor or outdoor. So that's something to consider. The roof of that house that I'm talking about with the steel reinforced panel can of course be slanted to favor solar gain. So when the sun is shining, it will harvest energy from the sun. And then with the stainless steel exoskeleton of the Cybertruck, I believe that there's energy available to charge the batteries. Energy in the ether. Apparently, Nikola Tesla had a conversation with J.P. Morgan in which Nikola was saying to J.P. that he was able to charge the battery for his electric vehicle from the ether, from the air around us. And I don't know if it was a combination of coming from the electrical power lines that may have been around, or if it was strictly just from the toroidal field of the ether. What I want you to consider is the evidence, some of the evidence of the energy within the ether would be lightning, the static discharge of lightning, as well as the aurora borealis, the northern lights. Very interesting. I've seen them firsthand in northern Wisconsin as well. We lived in central Wisconsin. I was able to see them there also. So imagine if you lived in a home that didn't really have any windows because it was steel reinforced concrete walls. However, you had a closed circuit camera system that you could put on big screen TVs wherever you wanted. It would be less expensive than windows. Windows are very vulnerable to intrusion or invasion, and of course even a bullet can go through normal glass. However, the armor glass that has aluminum in it that's on the Cybertruck can provide quite a bit of ballistic blast protection, as well as just overall protection. So it's very important. Also, I'm very much in favor of much of the technology that Elon Musk has been instrumental in bringing to market. And so with HEPA filtration of the climate control system in the Cybertruck makes a lot of sense, because there are contaminants within our environment that can filter out. So food for thought is healthy nutrition and ideas, information, and I prefer the truth as food for thought, more accurate information. If what I believe is not congruent or consistent with reality, then what I believe is a deception. I found that to be true, that I actually believed some information that was intentionally deceptive. I had believed quite a few lies about the nature of our world and more. And so I go into that in detail on my channel. I want to continue to talk about lifestyles of not only the rich and famous, what could be a lifestyle for you if you have the resources to start with a piece of ground that you punch a well in the ground to harvest water, to provide for your drinking and sanitation system in your house, to do your laundry, to clean your body, to wash your vehicles, to clean yourself up. And I would recommend carbon filtered reverse osmosis drinking water systems. I've got a couple of them in the house, and even though they only have a 2.5 gallon system, I've supersized mine with additional water storage. So I have polycarbonate water jugs filling up so that I have ample supply to bathe in and to clean myself up with really good. That's important because we are about 70% water. It should be clean water. And so when I take a long therapeutic soak in that hot water, I may gain or lose 7 to 10 pounds. That's a lot of water. So the fluoride that's in toothpaste, they say on the back of the label, if you swallow a pea-sized amount of that, you should contact poison control. There's more than that in a glass of water, apparently, more than that amount of fluoride. and there's other contaminants. Chlorine is good to disinfect, but once it gets to my house, I want it out of there because I don't want it going into my ultimate house, the human being that I live in. I'm a soul. I'm an eternal soul living in a human experience right now. And so I talk about it like that. We're all eternal beings having a temporary human experience. So one of the other things to go with that living system that I'm talking about, a septic tank that has some additional technology can actually harvest the methane that's generated from a septic tank that can run electric, can actually, you can cook with it, you could heat water with methane. They operate like the prison in Oshkosh, Wisconsin is located near a landfill that has a tremendous amount of methane that's generated from that, which does much of the heating and climate control for that prison facility. And the prison industrial complex is another component of what I'm exposing as well. We've got a military industrial complex that Kennedy and Eisenhower warned us about. There's a lot of what I would say is influence that's been created by artificial intelligence through the creation of currency, or the purchasing power of the world reserve currency, which is the dollar, and then largely the purchasing power of almost every other form is based in artificial intelligence. So the world reserve currency and the Federal Reserve System is a private worldwide central banking system that's enslaving humanity. How about that? Well, I'm exposing that. And one of the other dynamics with that is all that purchasing power that's gobbling up the real estate and all the other real important things in this world, because people are unemployed and facing poverty because of the designed global collapse. Now, I don't believe we live on a globe. I believe we live on a stationary level plane. That being said, the globalists that are deceiving humanity with artificial intelligence, false reality systems are deceiving and controlling the population of the world with the media systems that are funded by the money that they create out of thin air. Okay, so people are easily manipulated by the money that they create. It's not exactly out of thin air. The militaries of the world will help support what is also known as the petrodollar. And you can look into that too. The way that much of the petroleum changes hands is through the dollar, the United States world reserve currency. They're talking of a reset that's going to happen, a reset. And what they do is they create the problem, reaction, and solution. They actually, it being the world system, the beast system. When I say the beast system, I'm referring to the mark of the beast system as referred to in God's Word, the Bible, the book of Revelation 13. You can look at it, you can listen to it if you want. It takes less than a day to hear the entire New Testament, about 80 hours to hear from Genesis to Revelation, and the book of Enoch, which I highly recommend as well. It takes less than an hour and a half to hear the book of Revelation. I listen to that almost every night. I feel like I woke up in the book of Revelation reality around me. The mark of the beast system is ready to go mandatory at any time. They've used this outbreak, this pandemic, as a system, a societal and financial collapse to provide the digital exchange that will be mandatory. Nobody can buy or sell without the mark of the beast. So there's a lot of talk about that. I cover it on my research library that's on my channel. Imagine if you lived in a home that was fortified, steel reinforced concrete. You harvested the energy that you operate your electric vehicle from, like the Cybertruck, a Mad Max kind of apocalyptic survival vehicle, and that you power that with the sun and the ether, the wind that blows around, and you've got a fortified structure to protect yourself and your family from some very difficult times. So if you're interested in developing a living system like that, I've got a lot of awareness of how to put that together. And so even if you don't have the money for that, the simple version of what I'm doing is putting in the healthy nutrients and keeping the toxins out of and off of my body. And I do that by bathing in the highly purified drinking water with healthy electrolytes, a quarter cup of baking soda borax, which is boron, and magnesium sulfate, Epsom salts, which is very powerful, has very powerful electrical properties. We're electrically operated. We've got an electrical system. The evidence of that would be the defibrillator or the AED to resuscitate somebody if their heart stops working. Just food for thought. I prefer the truth and healthy nutrition to complement that. Being born again is the most important reality. God's word in the Gospel of John talks about the need to be born of the Spirit, and I have been. I thought I was born again in 1982 until I actually was in 2014. Ideas that I've had before they actually, like over 14 years before the Flow Through coffee bag went to market, I had that idea. And for years I had regretted not taking that further, actually developing it into a product that I made millions of dollars from. Now I'm not upset with that because I've been given wealth that's beyond human capacity to earn, and it's wealth that is being stored up in heaven for me by the efforts that God does in and through me. Only the work that's done in the Spirit will be sustainable when this body transitions, which we've all got an expiration date. Each of our bodies has an expiration date. The fact of the matter is we don't know when it is. God does. He's sovereign. He's large and in charge. There's nothing that's going to happen in this world that he either doesn't cause or allow. So I'm good to go. This is Robert Forsch with the YouTube channel Truth. Feel free to reach out and call me anytime if you like. Thank you so much.